Yeah, Kershaw about to hit the mound for the first time, so we'll try to make this quick, but I do appreciate it.
Yeah.
How's the first question I want to get into? Obviously, with the managerial change, I would say two contrasting sides. What's the feel there in the clubhouse now? Much more upbeat and energetic than years past, or?
Yeah, well, it's still early, and I would say based on the couple weeks I've been out here, it's more similar than different if you're just talking about the vibe and whatnot.
Yeah.
A couple things do stand out, though. One is that Yasiel Puig, who has been under a microscope basically since he arrived in the major leagues, you can see him interacting with Dave Roberts in a way that he didn't maybe ever with Don Mattingly. He just seems to be more loose, able to crack a joke, smiling, happy. Don Mattingly and Yasiel Puig didn't make small talk, at least not when the media was watching.
Sure.
And you see him around the batting cage. He looks like he's in a good mood, which is a good thing for the Dodgers to see. And just, I think generally, though, Roberts is going to be a guy who can relate to his players as somebody who played in the major leagues and is down to earth, able to get along with anybody. And you can see that, You guys talk about him in really collegial terms, I believe would be the right word.
Sure.
And it's a good tone that he set. But like I said, it's still pretty early.
Sure. Obviously, big news today with Brett Anderson. He's out looking like 3 to 5 months, I'm seeing.
Yeah, that's what they're saying so far. So anywhere from early June to early August.
Yeah, geez. So that's a big hit to a rotation that, obviously took a hit in the offseason with the loss of Greinke. The deal with Uikama didn't go through. Chapman went bad, but although, we'll see what's up with Chapman when he comes back. A lot of lefty starters this year. How does that what are they going to do as far as filling the third and fourth spot? Does the third go to Wood? And then, I know you guys got some young arms, but what's sort of the look of the rotation now without Anderson?
Well, you can go ahead and plug in 4 guys for now, pretty much automatically. You mentioned Alex Wood, Clayton Kershaw, of course, Kenta Maeda, big free agent signing from Japan, and Scott Kazmir, who is their biggest domestic free agent signing, if you will. That number 5 spot is open now. Brandon Beachy and Mike Bolsinger were the first 2 guys that Dave Roberts mentioned as candidates today. But I think it's early enough in spring training that you could say that would change, potentially, if one of the younger players like Zach Lee, Ross Stripling, one of those guys steps up, Carlos Frias, or even a really young guy like Jose De Leon or Julio Urias, 2 guys who, if you've been watching any prospect lists over the last year, you're familiar with those 2 names.
Yeah.
So we'll see. It's going to be an interesting camp, and that's probably the biggest battle right now, if you had to ask me.
Yeah, you talk about your farm system. I think one of the top 3 up there with my Red Sox who, obviously I meant to mention David Roberts. I love the guy just for the fact he stole 1 base up here in Boston for us. But, you mentioned the farm system, definitely top 3. There's a lot of depth in outfield already. And I know you guys got the basic little dream team going over there that you stole from, not stole, but you took Fieldman from Tampa Bay. He brought over, got a little dream team going there. He's doing very well with this farm system. Big into analytics. You could see it sort of with the free agent signings that they did and other things where it's sort of like a situational lineup where they get guys to plug in and out, where they don't have to play Ethier every game, especially against lefties, because we know how bad he struggled. It's sort of set up for a playoff team where it is more situational, but in the long term, especially with injuries, I'm a little concerned. Obviously, Peterson hit or miss. What are some names that could come in, say, obviously not on the opening day, but when we pass the 35-day or 35-game mark, when, or even deeper, later in the year, who are some guys, positional-wise, that we should look out for?
Well, I think in terms of changes, potentially, between now, or let's just say April 1 and October 1st, potential changes are more likely to happen on the pitching side.
Right.
I think positionally they're really set. They're set in a way that, they've got the 5 outfielders who were in the regular rotation last year: Peterson, Ethier, Crawford, Puig and Van Slyke.
Right.
The added Trace Thompson from the White Sox into that mix. He's a guy who might not have a roster spot on opening day, but I almost guarantee you he'll get at least 100 plate appearances by virtue of the normal injuries that take place over the course of the season. That's one name to look out for that you might not hear about right away. I think their infield is pretty set. I don't see a heck of a lot of change happening there, although Justin Turner's always an injury risk. Right now they're talking about Alex Guerrero, Chase Utley, and Howie Kendrick as sort of the mix behind him. And that's not a terribly deep position in the system, so I keep paying attention there. Corey Seager is pretty set at shortstop with him.
I love him.
Yeah, you and an army. There's Howie Kendrick, who's probably your starting second baseman, with Utley behind him, and Adrian Gonzalez. I'll throw one more name out there. Austin Barnes, third-string catcher, but also has some experience on the infield, and Dave Roberts is pretty high on him, so you might see some of him coming down the pipe. Excellent.
I would think the bullpen, maybe we'll see. I think the bullpen's a little bit of a question mark, but you're right. I mean, you guys are pretty deep, and like I said, your farm system is great. The thing I worry about, just to touch on the bullpen a little bit, you guys got some guys, if I'm not mistaken, 2 guys coming off of injury that didn't play much last year, right? Who was it? Hatcher and Baez. I'm trying to think. I can't think off the top of my head. Who's coming off Tommy John? I'm in a loss for words here.
Yeah, the 2 Tommy John guys in camp that you might hear from are Brandon Beachy, who didn't pitch a lot last year.
Yeah, thank you. That's
and Ross Stripling, who's another starting pitcher. Could be a bullpen guy down the road, but he was a pretty highly regarded prospect 2 years ago before the surgery, so we'll see.
Right. It's Sierra. Is that how you say his name? Sierra?
Yeah, Sierra.
He might be a starter, might be bullpen. He's in between two type of thing.
Yeah, they're leaving it open, really, for him to define his own role by how he pitches here in camp. It's been a while since he's pitched. He's one of those Cuban guys who defected and didn't really play much organized baseball last year. So
right, his family's still in Cuba too.
It's a big question mark.
Right, his family's still down there in Cuba. I hear you. I know. Yeah. Listen, I know you got to go. I'll do a quick. We got one question from one of the listeners I want to get to. As far as Hall of Fame voting, are you for the steroid guys or against them?
You know what? I don't have a ballot, but if I did, I think I would have to include them. I just think ethically, it's too difficult for really anybody, but especially somebody in the position of a writer, who's not looking at medical records, not looking at drug tests, not interviewing, steroid dealers. We're interviewing baseball players, right? I don't think it's fair for us to judge, knowing what we know, who used what and who didn't. So just knowing that, I can't use reasonable doubt to keep a guy out of the Hall of Fame. I would rather use certainty of what that guy did against his competition, borne out in numbers, borne out in what we as writers saw every day covering their teams. That's my standard, not what the guy used and what he didn't. And you know what? Major League Baseball doesn't like it. They could have enforced the drug policy better. Right,
but it was pretty convenient coming out of the strike era to have that home run race and get everything back in the seats. It was good then for baseball, But all right, so 5 quick questions and I'll let you go. Real rapid fire. How many wins for the Dodgers this year? Over under 88.
91.
91. All right. Who's the funniest guy in the clubhouse? Dave Roberts doesn't count because you'll like him.
I'll say Kike Hernandez.
All right. What's the World Series matchup this year?
Oh, American League is such a toss-up. I will go. I don't know. Let's go Cubs Royals.
All right. Is Puig on this team in September?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know if you're a college basketball fan, but I've been asking everyone because it is March. Who wins the national championship?
I have no idea. I couldn't give you one team in the top 25 right now.
Excellent. That's fine. That's fine. Listen, I appreciate it. I know you also write about travel. I know you wrote the book about the 50 best games in Dodgers history. Tell people where they can find you, read more about you, and maybe find your book.
Yeah. My daily Dodgers coverage is on dailynews.com. That's the Los Angeles Daily News. You can follow me on Twitter at JP Hornstra. That's JPHOORNSTRA. And you pretty much find all my content between those two links.
Sure. Excellent, man. I appreciate it. Hopefully we can talk soon, maybe at the All-Star break. And, I'm always on your Twitter, and I'm always reading your stuff. But keep me informed if you can on any injuries and stuff like that. We'll get back and forth. And hopefully we'll hear from you soon, man.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, bud.
Bye.
All right. That was J.P. Hornstrom, as you said. Good guy. Very knowledgeable. I liked his answer about the steroids. It was one of the better, more thought-out answers I've heard in a while. It makes a lot of sense. Who are these writers that get all the power? Hopefully you guys can hear me. I don't know what just happened with the volume. Hello. All right. I think you can hear me. There we go. I think I see it back now. Guys, let me know if I think so. Sorry. But I liked what he had to say. I just don't think writers that are covering people nationally, and not being around those guys and not really knowing what was really going on, have the right to basically play judge and jury with these guys. It's not cool. But, a lot of good names we heard there. I think what I really found interesting out of all that, and it's the first time I heard it, was how David Roberts is sort of reeling in Puig. That is huge. I really think if Puig is locked in and having a good time and really liking baseball and playing baseball and wanting to play every day, then I think that's a great thing for them, man. If they can get a full season out of him, watch out. Guys listening, can someone please tell me how the sound is? Because my thing is going haywire, my wire right here. Let me know. So, great stuff as always. Tomorrow, we'll get into and over to the Bay Area, where not only, this is a good little treat, not only will we be discussing the San Francisco Giants, right? We're going to talk about the Golden State Warriors, and he's got a great thing about the Warriors and the whole thing with the fighting at halftime and how that correlates over to Steve Kerr on that record-breaking Bulls team. Great story about that. I'll let him tell you that. He covers that. He also does a lot of college basketball. We're going to get his opinion on a little Pac-12, what his outlook is on that. It's going to be a good show tomorrow. Real good show. Big time stuff. But like I said, listen, you guys know what the deal is with baseball. This is the last time I'll touch on it for the day. Then we're going to get into college basketball. Listen, you want to come aboard, right? You can go and try to find somebody else on Twitter or wherever you got to find them and buckle down for the summer with them. But what you're getting out of them is nothing more usually than what you can do yourself with the internet these days. You can go on, you can look at numbers, you can look at trends, you can, with it really quick, pull up a lineup and see how they do against that starting pitcher, see, what they're batting. It's very easy to look up stats these days and get form your own opinion, especially on the fantasy sites where they really break down pitching matchups. It's not that hard. So, what are you paying for? You're going to pay for someone, I guess, to do that job for you, but usually they're not spending 8 or 10 hours a day doing it, which they should be if it's their full-time job. Go to work for 8 hours and get your shit done. But not many are talking to people. They can say they talk to people, like Steve Stevens saying he talks to all the CEOs or whatever. They can claim they have connections or whatever, but, can they prove it? Or can they at least make the effort to reach out to the people, Because little do they know, it's very easy to reach out to these guys and form a relationship with them. It really is. You treat them right, they treat you right. Everyone, they love to talk about baseball. Point being, you know what you're getting with me. I'm live on the air. You know that, I'm putting myself out there each and every day. We go over my record each and every day. I try to bring on all these guys